Hi guys, and welcome to a video where I'm going to take a look at some of the information that has been posted by DICE on the battlefield.com website. What I want to look at today focuses on a weapons Q&A that happened between Darkness429, a well-known Twitch live streamer, and Julian Schimek, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, who is a weapon designer on Battlefield 1. Now, he answered a whole host of questions from Darkness429 you find on Twitter as well. I'm going to link him down below. I don't think he'll watch this video, but in case you want to check him out, feel free to do so. But this was a really interesting Q&A. I thought I'd make a video on it, even though I am a little bit late, because there are some interesting points that have been brought up. A couple of the questions that were asked revolved around how the weapons will actually feel in Battlefield 1, comparing it to previous Battlefield games, and the answers that came out were quite positive from my point of view. It was very clear that there were going to be strengths and weaknesses between the different weapons, and you'd find weapons better in certain situations than others. Now that links straight into Battlefield 4 and previous titles. You have weapons that are going to be better at taking an enemy down very quickly, but the recoil will be worse, so they wouldn't be as good in those longer range engagements. However, it is very clear in Battlefield 4 that there are some weapons, such as the AEK and maybe the AS-Val, that are so overpowered. A lot of them aren't used in the competitive scene, and this is, it kind of means that the best players can really use the overpowered weapons, so it maybe would be a little fairer if they address that in some way, and I think they possibly will do that in Battlefield 1. However, they are definitely going to change the kind of historical accuracy of weapons in Battlefield 1, as of course in World War 1 the guns didn't fire as fast, and possibly they might have to change that. It's not a super accurate game, Battlefield, it never really has been, but it will kind of try and incorporate as much stuff from World War 1 as possible while linking it to a shooter that we can all actually enjoy. When questioned about the gadgets in Battlefield 1, Julian came back with quite an interesting answer. He used the word innovation in his answer, which I think really opens a lot of doors in terms of the gadgets that we could see. So, of course, we're going to see tanks, and we're going to see some vehicles like that. It's not just going to be infantry, it's not just going to be trench warfare, but we're also going to see some quite cool things, because remember, World War 1 was a very effective war in driving technology. It's the same with the Second World War as well. We started seeing things that we'd never seen before, and it enabled armies and nations to create things that of course they wouldn't have created if there wasn't a war in the first place. Tanks, for example, wouldn't have been created if there wasn't that world war and a need for them. We may have had them in the future, of course, but that war provided a chance for these things to be created. So it could be quite interesting what we see. Admittedly, I don't think we're going to be seeing flare sights and things, because obviously they were not invented back then, but as in Battlefield 4 we did get a hover tank, so you never really know what you're going to get, but I do think it will be quite traditional and keep it quite accurate in terms of the actual gadgets you're going to get in the game. Another one that people would be definitely very interested in: how will long-range snipers feel like? Of course, people love sniping in Battlefield 4. It's a massive section of the game. Whether you love it or hate it or whatever you make of it, it does go on, and it is a big selling point for the game itself. Now, the answer again was quite interesting. Now, I'm quoting here: the way they work will feel familiar to players who enjoy playing the sniper role in Battlefield games, but they aren't exactly the same. The biggest change is that you will actually be the most effective when you stay at the right distance to your target. It's not all about being as far away as possible. You'll want to make sure you look not too close, but also not too far away. This is a very, very vague answer, saying not too close, not too far. Basically, what it means is you will be able to snipe in Battlefield 1, and they're trying to promote the use, I think, of the sniper class being something you can actually use to be effective for your team and get away from kind of that camping on a hill, not playing the objective side of the game. I'm really looking forward to it. I would love to pick up a sniper in Battlefield 1 and actually start playing it. I never played it really in Battlefield 4, so it could be great to have that in Battlefield 1 and give it another dimension, because the sniper class could be really, really effective and could be something you pick up and rival the assault class, because at the minute, if you play infantry and don't play assault, sometimes people play support, but if you don't play assault, then you can't be as effective to your squad and your team with reviving people. But the sniper role could have something in it that really makes it stand out as an infantry class. Of course, we know that there will be bayonets, and they can be attached to your guns. Most weapons will allow you to equip a bayonet, and this will, according to Julian and obviously anyone who knows a little bit about guns, it does affect the way the gun actually works. You will have a bit of customization as well, so you'll have lots of sights, magnification, things like that that will be revealed over the next couple of weeks, I'm sure. However, there is something that I think will be incorporated and that is weapon skins. Of course they're going to have weapon skins, similar to BF4 I presume, so you can make your gun look a little bit more personalised, maybe add your own little tag or your own little motif or something that you might be able to create as you could in Battlefield 4 and Hardline. However, you might be able to do a little bit more than that, so possibly you could import a design or something and maybe have a bit more freedom with what you create, so you could get some really interesting gun designs. I think they should possibly limit it, because I don't want to see everybody running around with pink, gold and shiny chrome guns. I just don't think that's something that we want to see. However, I do want people to be able to really personalise their weapons. The final thing that I do want to look at is a question: do melee weapons play a greater role in close quarters combat? Now, before I read the answer out to you, let's remember that Battlefield 4, the knifing system is horrific. It doesn't work at all. The amount of bugs that you get are crazy. Battlefield 3, although I haven't played that much infantry, again seems very bad. I'm not a massive fan of knifing not working all the time. However, Battlefield 4 is where it really doesn't stand out. Hardline, however, I think is fantastic. Some of the animations you get in Hardline, throwing the knife into the head and then like kicking them away and dragging the knife out, it's cool. It's a bit kind of gory maybe for a game like this, where you're not going to get, I mean, the most gory thing that we have in Battlefield 4 is the ragdoll and people flying up in the air when you shoot them with an explosive, but I think Hardline kind of got the balance a bit better, and the fact that it actually worked as well was quite impressive. So the answer is as follows: getting up close and personal with your enemies was much more common in World War I than in other wars of the 20th century. We designed a number of distinct melee weapon types to take advantage of this, each featuring different attack speeds and damage output. Now this straight away to me links to Hardline. Different weapons, different things that you can attack people with, not just a knife. Remember, we did see things such as a sledgehammer and a sword in Hardline, so maybe we could have, alongside the trench club and the spade, maybe we could have a knife. We've obviously got the bayonet. Maybe we could have something that's a little more extravagant, so possibly not a sword but possibly a longer blade, maybe a improvised bayonet that was held in your hand instead of on the end of your gun. Maybe you could pick it off your gun and have it in one hand as well, and then have your gun on your back and, you know, separate the two weapons out. I'm not really too sure how they're going to do it, but it's going to be really cool, because I think that close-up hand-to-hand combat is something that could be improved on massively in Battlefield, and with the graphics and with hopefully the way the game plays, the scenery, the map, the event of the whole thing being the First World War, it's going to be epic, and they have to make sure they get that right, because I think that could be a massive selling point for Battlefield 1 when it does actually come out. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, slap a like on it, and if you have any extra information, make sure you leave it down below for people to have a read of as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.